Good evening. My name is Hugh Ognacook. I'm from Barrow, Alaska. I am the founder and owner of Waters Fish Company. Waters Fish Company started out in 2015. Washington had some of the biggest wildfires in history. And so Colville Indian Reservation put out the word to have volunteers come help. So I went there and I helped out with their emergency management team. And I was up there for 2.5 months volunteering while I was living in Portland. So the next summer, they called me up and asked me if I wanted some salmon. So I said, sure. And so they gifted me 600 pounds of smoked salmon, right? And I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do with this? So as an indigenous person, growing up, I learned how to smoke salmon. And that was the best way for me to preserve it. So in the backyard, I built a homemade smoker. And I smoked up 600 pounds of fish. At the same time, the Squally canoe journey was going on, and I'm sure some of you guys heard that. And I had some friends that were vendors there. And they said, Hugh, come on up and sell that smoked salmon. So I did. And it was a hit. As I was doing it, I talked to my elders, and I asked them, should I turn this into a business? And they said yes. And so Sacred Waters came into being. And then I'm thinking about, wow, I have a lot of native friends that are fishermen, right? And all the way from the Columbia River up the Puget Sounds, Tulalip, Quinault. And I know that having that relationship with them, that there's an economic disparity, that their fish is less money than a regular fisherman. And I'm like, oh, well, no, that can't work, right? So as a company, I'm trying to pay a fair wage because it's going to help their families when they go home. When a regular fish buyer is paying $2.50 a pound, I'm paying $5 to $6 a pound. That goes a long way in a disadvantaged area. You know, as Native Americans, we're at a disadvantage. So my company, we try to help that. When I buy fish, I talk to them and I tell them, hey, you know, why don't you start charging more money for your fish? You know, it's going to help your families. There's people out there that would be willing to help you learn how to market your fish, market your product. And we try, we do what we can. So part of our thing is that the fish can be sustainable. Right now it's struggling, but with education, talking to our government representatives, our tribal fisheries, we can make a change. That impact's not only going to impact the native fishermen, but it's also going to impact the environment, our orcas, the other animals that rely upon the salmon. One of the things that we do personally is I go to a fish hatchery and I help what they call do the rodeo. We collect the eggs and the sperm and we make the next generation. And that's something everybody can do. So it's important to educate people, right? So when I'm at a powwow or an event, we try to talk to people about what they can do as an individual to help the salmon, to help the environment, right? Water is sacred, salmon is sacred. Thank you.